Opening scene, we see a family and a whiny Gen Z teen arguing with his mom. After complaining about his loser father who's stuck in the 80s, as he says, the man hears them argue and then he goes back into his man cave and locks the door. In the game he was playing, it sort of comes back to life where he enters a command and it just happens. After playing with his light a bit, the game asks him to choose between his tongue or her ears, meaning his son's tongue or his wife's ears. The man tries to press the escape button over and over again, and the game emits this weird sound and tries to kill him, and then he walks out in terror, and he sees his wife holding out his son's tongue in one hand and a kitchen knife with the other. Dun dun dun, the movie starts. After a bit of time, we are introduced to Kayla, a college dropout who is super broke financially and emotionally. Emotionally because her little brother drowned to death recently, and this is Isaac, another broke friend she has who wants to get with her for some reason. But for now they're just buds, and they share the state of poverty. Her working to clean an empty building that nobody cares about, and him trying to build a game that will make him rich one day, he hopes. At his place, they talk about being poor. Kayla finds this weird retro game called Cursor, and she's interested in checking out the game because she loves retro games, and at the same time, the game has some kind of prize, and she thinks it could be money because, she's broke. After a visit at Isaac's house, Kayla goes home to the project, and this is her very sick mom, an eviction notice. She also smokes something, so after giving her mom her medication and fixing some retro stuff, she goes to work, wonders why her boss makes her clean an empty floor, and then goes to the diner where she was supposed to meet up with Isaac, but he ditches her. So it's like the middle of the night, she's alone in the diner, and she stays around and she boots up this game, and it's weirdly intuitive, asking for coffee or cake and pointing to the menu. Then she chooses coffee, and it's all freaky for no reason as the waitress appears out of nowhere and she starts to pour coffee. Kayla's pretty much freaked out at this point. Then the game asks her if the waitress should take a break. She closes the PC, and then she's in this weird alternate universe, and she can hear her little brother's voice telling her to choose or die. And then she opens the PC back up again, and then she's in the diner. She's terrified, so she chooses to take a break. She chooses the waitress to take a break. And then she notices the waitress just breaking glasses like a robot. Then the game asks to continue or clean up. Now the very freaked out Kayla chooses clean up. And just when you think the waitress is about to go get a mop and clean everything, she goes down on her knees and then she starts to eat the glasses. Kayla tries to stop her, and the diner boss gets up and acts all weird and possessed like a glitch in a game. But Kayla just pushes him away. She tries to stop her, but she can't. And before she knows it, boom, she wakes up in her own room. And she thinks it's some kind of nightmare. Then she overhears some cop talking to her mom about the incident which apparently took place last night. It wasn't a nightmare and it was real, and the waitress did die. Leaving her shitty condo to go to Isaac's place, she runs into the local drug dealer and he hassles her a bit and goes all, "I have your mail, you just got rejected from another job," which frustrates her more. And then she goes to Isaac's place, and Isaac is super confused at this point, saying that a game can't take control and stuff. And he's like, okay, I'll just do the research. She leaves his house, she goes to work, and then her sad crackhead mom calls, and she's all paranoid about rats, but this time you can hear the rats over the phone, which is very creepy, like super creepy. And then before she knows it, lights go all green, the one computer in the room turns on, and it's the game. It's now level 2, and on this level, it's got her mom and a bunch of rats chasing her, and it's like a maze. The maze being her house. Kayla now gets to control her mother and tells her where to go. It's kind of like Pac-Man actually. After moving around her mom a little bit, she makes her jump out a window to run away from the rats because she had control over her. And then Kayla wins level 2. But enraged, she breaks the computer to pieces, and then she loses the only shit job she had. Her mom makes the jump, by the way, and after a visit at the hospital, she goes to see her house, and it's a freaking mess. She also runs into the local crackhead again, who threatens to report things to the landlord, and then she tells him to back off, then goes to Isaac and freaks out. She shows him pictures she took of the house, and now he's like, okay, wow, I believe you, this is really horrible. Isaac and Kayla then go through the computer's code, like the game's code, they wait till it's 2 a.m. so that the game starts back up again, because that's when it starts. All of a sudden the game starts, then freaks out Isaac by saying what he will say before he actually says it. Then it goes all help or no help. Should Isaac help, then it goes all choose or die, choose or die. Then tries to kill Kayla with its weird screeching sound. Then the game itself, chooses help. And then boom, Matrix-style blue door, red door appears in Isaac's room, like out of nowhere. Yeah, I would take the blue one too, buddy, but not when you hear some kids saying, die. So they go with the red one. Then we see Isaac being attacked by what appears to be Kayla's little brother. When she gets to them, both are lying on the ground and the game makes her choose between Isaac and her brother. And after due consideration, she tries to pull Isaac out, but the weird retro game version of her now dead brother comes to life and tries to attack her, and she chokes him to death. Sheesh, talk about triggering trauma, huh? So after choking out her fake retro game brother to death, she finishes level 3 and now Isaac is awake and the game is over and Kayla spends the night at Isaac's place. He comes up with the data and they find a location to where the game originated. After driving for a bit, they do some trespassing and they go into this abandoned building and they follow a bunch of extension cords and they find a tape from 1980 where a man that discovered the game called Beck was like explaining the origins of the game and how he found a bunch of symbols that affected reality. And it's the symbols themselves that are a curse. You can use them against someone else. They're a curse. That's why the game is called Cursor. So the game is basically a curse, but only for the player and not for the person who controls the game. Seeing all this, Isaac and Kayla kind of freak out, and then Isaac talks about calling the police. Then boom, as soon as they try to take the VHS tape out, the game starts back up again and it's now level 4. They both panic. Isaac tries to unplug the cord and then peep this, he gets stuck in this weird animation video game sphere. Then on this level, the game makes Kayla choose to rewind or fast forward. And when she fast forwards, Isaac starts to spit videotape out of his mouth like someone was like mangling it out of him. And it looks super painful too. And she fast forwards again and then he spits it out real hard and then level 4 is done. Isaac is choking and all bloody and he's shaking. Kayla gets to him, but it's too late and he dies. And there's a boss fight. I guess they had boss fights in the 80s. And she's given a location and she drives there. And you guys remember that weird guy, the weird family from the opening scene? That's where she drives to. She gets to the place, everything is quiet, everybody's dressed formally and they're sitting down and they're eating. The kid has these magazine cutouts of like eyes and mouth taped to his face. The woman looks disfigured. It's a bit of a horror show. And then the man explains how he played the game a few months ago and how the game told him that if he made a bunch of copies and disseminated them, that the game would just leave them alone. Kayla does not care and she's still very pissed. And on her phone, apparently the boss fight starts and the boss is the man that she has to defeat in order to win. So they start fighting and they hurt each other. As soon as both of them hit one another once, they figure out that they actually feel the other person's pain. Get it? If Kayla kills herself, she actually doesn't die. It's the man that does. Not understanding this, the man's son tries to shoot Kayla, in turn shooting his own father, and then he shoots his father, shooting Kayla. They're still both standing and the wife, I don't know for some reason, willfully tries to stop her husband by shooting Kayla. The man takes the gun from his wife and then he tries to shoot himself, but the bullets are out. And then he takes a knife from his son and then he slits his own throat. But Kayla drowns herself. Now it's all a matter of who dies first. Kayla starts to bleed out in the pool and the man starts gushing out water as she is drowning. And weirdly enough, Kayla dies first, meaning the man died and Kayla wins. The wife helps her out and thanks her for killing her husband, and right there Kayla gets the final reward. You would think it would be a wad of cash, but no, it's better than that. It's apparently full access to the game. Do you get it? Now she can benefit by hurting other people, and when you think this is morally wrong and should not be used against anyone, Kayla here does it on the local dope peddler who seems to be hassling her all the time, and she makes him die a horrific death and her wounds, like all the wounds on her face, start to heal. And in the last scene, we see her getting a phone call of congratulations from the creator Beck saying that you've beat my game, who's gonna suffer now? And she goes all, only the people that deserve it. So I guess the moral lesson here is to know that it's okay to hurt bad people by making them play a 1980s cursed game. Yeah, pretty much. And please leave your comments in the comment section and subscribe and like my video because I really enjoyed doing this for you guys. Please support my channel. I love you guys. I will see you on the next recap. Bye.